So it has come to this. Good men, torn from their kin, to rage and spill the blood of other men's foes. But we will not be forgotten.
Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to OLC TV, this time for something brand new. CA have been extraordinarily kind in giving me early access to the new Total War Saga, Troy. So for those of you who don't know that much about it, this is a game that I think is based on the Warhammer 2 engine, so battles are a little bit arcadey for my personal liking, but with sagas they do start to play around and implement new ideas into the game. And what we see in this is a very, very clever way of running an economy with multiple different resources, and this sort of forces your gameplay so you can't have like a 20 stack of elite units, because that's just going to tank your resources. You need to balance out your armies in a very, very unique way that you don't really get in other Total War games, so I really, really enjoy that. This game, like all sagas, you know, it's not as big or as complex as the likes of Shogun 2 or Three Kingdoms, and it certainly isn't going to be a contender for my favourite game, but it is a lot of fun. Now, what I'm going to do here is do a faction preview for every one of the 8 main factions and the Amazon DLC when it comes out, just so we can have a look at how each faction plays and what I think are a pretty good few set of starting turns to prepare you for the whole campaign. Now, if there's interest, I will take this further and build this out into a perfect start series similar to what I did with Total War 3 Kingdom. We are going to be starting this with Odysseus. We're starting with Odysseus because he is who I have been playing my personal campaign with. Since I got this game earlier this morning, I have put in a number of hours and I have pretty much completed the Homeric Victory, which we'll talk about later, with Odysseus. It's a lot of fun. It does say starting situation is hard. I actually think his starting situation is pretty easy. It gets hard sort of in the mid-game, but the early game, he's relatively easy, and we'll see why. Now, Odysseus is the Lord of Ithaca. He's a shrewd and resourceful ruler of Ithaca. He's a trusted advisor to the kings of Achea and a brilliant diplomat. He prefers subterfuge and guerrilla tactics to defeat his opponents. He's of course the mastermind behind the fantastic Trojan horse idea, and he's also the guy who was asked by Agamemnon to go and persuade Achilles to stop sulking. Achilles, for those of you who haven't read the Iliad, Achilles spends the vast majority of the Iliad in a massive sulk. For a few reasons. He doesn't really get on with Agamemnon, there's a fight over slaves and women and everything else. And then he spends a lot of the time in a sulk. Odysseus helps to bring him out of that sulk and help him rejoin the war effort. Now, as well, I just wanted to say, the artwork. CA have done a fantastic job with artwork over the last few games, and they have absolutely nailed it with this. I love it. These bronze statues that when you just go over them come to life. I think it's magnificent. But enough of that. Let's have a look at Odysseus and how his faction plays. So this is the map, and for a saga, it is pretty big. It's really quite big. We have victory conditions. Now, the victory conditions are slightly different than normal. You have this new thing called a Homeric Victory, and this is where you have to complete all the steps of your hero's epic mission chains. That's 12 missions in total. Now, these missions are based on what the character does throughout the Homeric epic, which makes it quite interesting if you want to follow the stories. The missions themselves play out in a more similar way to how the missions do for Warhammer, than, for example, following the story in Romance of the Three Kingdoms, but I think for a game like this, that is slightly better. Because you actually want to see your hero doing it rather than, you know, just click a button, let's say. You of course need to destroy Troy, and you need to have an agent reach the rank 27. There's of course the Total War Victory, which is just the standard defeat everyone, run everything, conquer the main settlements deal. Now, Odysseus is a coastal faction, and this gives him a few unique ways of doing this. He's also very heavily influenced by agents and what agents do. So his faction mechanics work like this. His agents can build safe havens, and safe havens can only be built in settlements that you do not own. These safe havens can then help you recruit troops in essentially enemy territory potentially. It could be your friend's territory, it could be allies' territory, but also enemy territory, which is fantastic. But what troops you can recruit is dependent on what existing military buildings you have present in your own settlements. So you are limited, you can't just produce anything, you can only produce what you already can produce in your own settlement. He also has Coastal Mastery. Coastal Mastery, because he is a coastal faction, he gets huge benefits to having coastal settlements. But landlocked settlements, he gets nerfed. So he has unique buildings available for construction that surpass those of other factions for coastal settlements. You can only build them in coastal settlements, and landlocked settlements, you can only upgrade the main building. All the support buildings are stuck at basically level 1, which means that landlocked buildings, you only really want to take landlocked areas if, frankly, there's an enemy there that you just want to crush. Otherwise, there's no real benefit to you. Now, his recommended playstyle is focused on stealthy, fast-moving units, which are best used for outflanking and rear charges, and using a sort of main line to hold. Now, this is very similar to how I like to play in Total War, Three Kingdoms, with a relatively solid line of infantry and some very good cavalry to smack the crap out of the enemy. However, this being Bronze Age Greece, there ain't that much cavalry. So you have to rely on skirmisher units and clever deployment, which makes him really quite fun to play with. As far as heroes go, he himself is an archer style marksman character, as you can see with the bow, and you get different versions like an archer skirmisher who's a marksman unsurpassed in eliminating foes from afar, and an archer trickster who's a bow wielding hero who relies on mobility and deception to prevail. You cannot unfortunately recruit any of the defender types, but you can recruit fighters and warlords, who we will look at as this series progresses, because they're available, like different ones are available to different factions. And they sort of follow the same idea that you would get with Total War Three Kingdoms, where you have strategists, champions, sentinels, etc. Each one of them does something slightly different. He has unique faction units here. Odysseus' Midnight Runners, who are two-handed spear infantry, medium weight class, experts in flanking. They have their own special missile weapon. He has a lot of skirmisher type troops, and they have stalk. He has javelin infantry, who are the guerrilla stalkers. He has ambushers, who are also javelin infantry, and he has exemplary ambushers. We're going to see some of these guys very early on in the campaign. He also has these other benefits down here. Plus 12% movement range at sea for his army, because of course he's a coastal faction. He moves very, very quickly on water, and he gets a plus 5 to morale when fighting at sea as well. So it's pretty damn good for the coastal stuff. When you're on land, you don't really see the same benefits. Right, enough of that. We're going to be doing this on Legendary. I can't change the battle difficulty. I only have the campaign difficulty. On Legendary, I don't know why I'm locked to this. I will see you in the game.
Are we mere playthings of the gods? Or do we plead divine influence to justify our foolish choices?
He's taken her! He's taken my wife! You've risked the safety of Troy.
Troy is my home now.
You have my oath, brother. She will be returned to you. Brother, I can fight!
Go. Seek shelter. There'll be plenty of fighting ahead.
Helen's flight was a grave wound to Achaean pride. King Menelaus will have his revenge. And his brother will have his war with Troy, just as the gods intended. O silver-tongued Odysseus, there is only one response to Queen Helen's abduction, and that is war.
Paris of Troy must pay!
King Agamemnon of high-walled Mycenae must avenge this insult to his brother.
Troy thinks to slight me, but they will pay the price.
You are king of Ithaca, and the master of deception. Wise and resourceful. Great heroes like Achilles himself will take heed of your counsel. Each of Helen's original suitors must decide whether to honor their oath, calling on them to defend Helen's husband.
The wine-dark sea lures me from my home.
The Teleboans, once obedient to the kings of Ithaca, are now trying their fortune as sea raiders. You need to put an end to their lawless ambitions. Choose your allies wisely, and confront your enemies without fear.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are. So how they play: Ithaca, safe havens. Agents of wily Odysseus can sneak into foreign settlements and, unbeknownst to their owner, enable the construction of safe haven buildings inside. Ithacan warriors flock in secret to these buildings, ready to be recruited if their lord needs them. It's extremely useful, by the way. Coastal mastery. The people of Ithaca display a natural affinity towards the sea. Their coastal settlements can become far more developed than those of other factions. Their landlocked territories will be characteristically lackluster. First mission, maybe's first battle: defeat the enemy army. And this game does give you a little bit more tutorial than perhaps you need if you've played a Total War game before. Right, so what we start off with is this situation here. This is the whole province that we need to conquer. The Teleboans have half of it, we have half of it. We need to smash Kranoi here, and we need to take Hiri here. My pronunciation is going to be shocking, I'm afraid. Now I'd like to bring your attention to something. They have these lovely little symbols here to let you know what the settlements do. This, of course, is the Provincial Capital. This is a farm settlement. This is a stone quarry settlement. And this is a bronze forge settlement. So were we to take all of this, that would provide us with farm, with stone and bronze. So we're only lacking wood and gold. Now, that is pretty good. Bronze is rare and extremely useful. Stone gives you better buildings. Wood is essential for the early tier buildings and just every building, I think, to some extent. So we're going to need all of these resources one way or another. Food, of course, feeds the armies. Once we've cleared these guys up, we're going to be in a pretty good state, but we do need more gold and we do need more wood. Now, fortunately, I'm going to send my agent all the way up here just for a little bit of scouting. Because there is a faction up here called the Chariots who have a wood production settlement, as well as a food production settlement, and I think another bronze production settlement, and they don't particularly like us. So I'm going to have him go up there and just scout the area out and get everything prepared whilst we deal with the Teleboans. Because once we've defeated them, we're going to want to head north, declare war on the Chariots, and take all of their land too, because it's all lovely and coastal, which will suit us down to the ground. Now, let's have a quick look at how he works as well. So, here is Odysseus with our army. Now, he has some great troops to start off with. He has these wonderful heavy sword skirmishers, who are a little bit expensive in food. If you, actually, they're not too bad. 115 is not too bad, but they're still a little bit more expensive than the rest. But they have their own missiles that they can throw at the enemy, sort of javelin. They're heavy troops. They have good battle speed. They're pretty damn quick for heavy troops. And they fight well. Then we have these light sword and shield infantry sword skirmishers, which are just light versions of these heavy sword skirmishers. And they're extremely fast and extremely good, and they hide so well, and they all have vanguard deployment. Then we have these islanders. They're basically peasants with, an axe and a shield. They're not very good, to be honest, but they do hide well, and they're quite good for just ambushing people. And then we have the Exemplary Ambushers. These are his top tier troops that we have currently. They are light, they have a little bit of bronze armor. You see they cost bronze with their upkeep. They have armor piercing, they're experts in hiding, they have stalk, they are insanely good. And then of course the lower tier version of the same, just the ambushers. They're insanely good. Javelin troops, they don't have the range of slingers, but they just kill. And you put these guys on the flank or the rear flank, of an enemy formation, they will tear it to pieces. They're magnificent. Okay, enough of that. A little bit more about the functions. So you've got your Treasury button up here, where you can check to see how your income and everything else is going on. You have your objectives, if you want to check how your objective completion is doing. Then, of course, we have your Royal Decrees. This is sort of like the research. Now, of course, you do want each one of these, the Treasure Hall and the Royal Granaries and the Royal Stone. You do really want them because they give you just production of that resource without you needing to have a building or a settlement that specializes in its production. We definitely need gold. We are not going to get a shortage of stone if we take hold of that settlement, and we already have food coming in. So we definitely need gold. It's very, very useful, and gold is used for prayers, it's used for, trade and everything else. It's quite useful. So I'm going to pop that straight away. Also because it unlocks this, which is the battle speed for all units. Now, for Odysseus' own playstyle, this is just amazing because he already has relatively quick light troops that can outflank the enemy very, very easily. The faster your guys move with Odysseus, the better you can outmaneuver the enemy and kill them. So we do want to be getting this very, very quickly. There are some other stuff down here, like the recruitment cost. We don't have any medium infantry units, to be fair to him. The recruitment cost is very, very good. Cost for agent actions is extremely good. Happiness is very, very useful. Influence, of course, light infantry here is extremely useful. So, a lot of the things there are very, very useful for Odysseus too. I just want the gold as soon as I can. We're also going to check out diplomacy. Now, we are friends with Sparta, Mycenae, Pylos, and the Phaeacians. Now, Sparta, in fact, we are very, very good friends with, and he wants all manner of things from us. So we're going to go for a defensive alliance. And then we're going to go for this barter agreement. So you don't have a trade agreement like you did before, you have a barter agreement, and you can choose for how many turns it lasts. So for example, we can go from between 5 and 10 turns. And you can see down here in the economic resources what they want. They have tons of food. They don't want food. They're okay for wood and stone, and they want bronze and gold. I don't really need food. I do need stone, but I'm going to take a resource where I'm going to produce some, so I'm not overly worried. I personally would quite like some bronze, which I know for them sucks, but, doesn't matter too much for me. So they're going to throw out quite a lot over 10 turns. I want quite a lot of bronze. Can we push this up? I might do some more. I quite like some wood because we have no real major wood production. 800 wood doesn't go that far. 40 isn't bad. Can we get some more? Starts to get really... Yeah, they start to get really expensive there. We'll throw out some stone as well because that's not going to be too bad for us. Just so we've got some coming in. And I guess we can just make weight the rest with some food. So we're going to get 10 turns of this. So it's going to pay us quite nicely. Done. Mycenae, if you ask them, they don't really want anything from you. Pylos, I can't remember if Pylos wants anything. Yes, Pylos wants military access. So we're going to do that. We're going to have a look at a barter agreement. He has lots of bronze, so we're going to ask him for some bronze over time. Even though we don't particularly need bronze, I'm going to ask him for bronze because if you control the bronze, the more bronze you have, especially towards the late game, the better your chances are, the better your ability is to field top tier troops. If you don't have bronze, you don't have that ability. So I'm always going to try and stockpile bronze, and the Phaeacians don't want anything from you. There are other factions around as well. We don't need to worry about them for this moment in time. After that, you also have Divine Will. Divine Will is where you can do a hecatomb or a prayer towards the different gods. And each one of these gods, once you have respected or celebrated or worshipped, they'll give you different bonuses. So for example, the missile damage of slingers is pretty good, but we don't have any slingers, so I don't really need it. Zeus gives melee attack of club units. We don't have any club units, but we do have javelins, which is very, very good. So that could really, really work in our favor. Ares, however, gives +1 to local recruitment capacity. We can only recruit 3 units per turn at the moment. This would give us 4, allows us to speed up recruitment, and there is always, with all of these games, a mission where it says recruit 12 units, get whatever. So you want to do this if you want to get to that very, very quickly. If not, go for Zeus with the with the missile damage for javelin units. Both of them extremely useful for Odysseus in the early stages. Apollo, less useful. Spear units and fatigue, less useful right now. Campaign movement range at sea and everything else, less useful right now. And diplomatic relations, less useful right now. For me, I am going to go a Hecatomb for Ares. This will cost me 500 food. A prayer will cost 420 gold. That's why you want the gold and why you want to trade for the gold. I'm going to do a Hecatomb. It's going to push the favor up to 70. Favor will decrease over time. But it's going to push up to 70, which is going to give me the opportunity to recruit lots more troops. It doesn't cost me that much at the end of the day as well. So we'll drop this. However, we now can't do this until the cooldown has been done. We can't do it for any faction until the cooldown has been done. However, Ares will now support us in battle, which is very, very nice. Righty ho. After that, you have the safe havens. So when you build safe havens, you can see where they are here. And once we built one, if we get to it, I will show you. Now on to Baby's first battle. We need to go smash Thestios. So let's go and hit him. Right, Thestios is an archer skirmisher. We are an epic hero, of course we are. He has some club infantry, he has some axe and shield, he has some 200 spear, and he has some sling infantry. He should be relatively straightforward. Let's get into this fight. Because the fighting is a little bit different than it is in any other Total War, actually, to some extent, even though it's based on the Warhammer model. It is still slightly arcadey, as I think I may have said before, but it's quite fun. You can do a lot with the... where the conditions are back, you can wait 3 times and change it, but I'm just going to start. But you can do a lot with the ground. As you can see here, we have mud. And this mud will affect your units as you march through it. You have grass, you have plains and everything else, and they affect your units throughout the whole thing. We also have a huge number of troops that can go into vanguard formation, so I'm going to shove my javelins here, and they will be hidden. These boys as well, I'm going to shove here, and they will be hidden too. Then we just have these clubmen and Odysseus here, who we're going to use to succor in the enemy. So advance up we come. Now you can see with these clubmen, the axe troops, right now they're not hidden, but were we to move them to some shrubland or something like that over here, they may get hidden very, very quickly, because clubmen have, clubmen axemen have this unspotable. So if it can hide in its current location, it will not be spotted until the enemy is very close. They're extremely good at ambushing. It can hide in scrub and forest. So as long as we put it into scrubland, they can hide. Unfortunately, I don't think this is scrubland. This over here is scrubland, and that up there is scrubland. But this isn't, and I'm not that worried because we're trying to...
Terrain such as this.
Thank you. I'm trying to encourage them to come down onto me. No, they can hide there. You can see they can hide even here in what looks like very, very open land. You can have a good look at them. They've got no real formation. They're in their, tunics and skirts and whatevers. They're not particularly well armored. All my boys over here are very well hidden. Odysseus has no horse right now, but he does have his bow. He has a cone range we can use, and we need to go succor the enemy out a little bit. So we're going to use Odysseus just to do that. Here they are. Go on, shoot them. And it will build up. The more he shoots, the more it will build up his rage. And if he has rage, he can then pop these cool little toys up here. The Flight of Artemis, which increases his missile damage and his own personal movement speed, and his range and his accuracy. Which are both very, very cool tricks. If he builds up enough, he gets his Aristeia. And his Aristeia will have no cooldown for no cooldown for abilities, 25 hit points heal per second, plus 20% armor, plus 30% melee, free stamina, and become unbreakable. It's awesome, but you need to build up enough points for it. You can see he's absolutely wailing on these slingers. They will break very, very quickly. Yeah, I mean, this is baby's first battle. We can't really expect them to be that great. I am slightly surprised that they are not coming here. Here they are. Here they are. Right. Slow this. Come on. Come on. They're young spears. So these young spears, they have no shields at all. They're just basically similar to the islanders, just with two-handed spears. They do charge well, however. When they hit you, they hit you. When these guys hit you, you can shake it off. These guys are a little bit tougher in the early game to shake off. Come on, you dribblers. All the way down. Run away! I'm not really running away. You can see this is my morale ticking down because I'm showing my back to them. Oh, really? Come on. Right, fed up with this. Advance, boys. They don't want to come into my trap. We'll advance into theirs. Right. He's very tired. I'm not surprised he's been firing the whole time. As you can see as well there, it tells you what his ammunition's like, his health. I don't quite know why it says vehicle health. Oh, yes, I do. Chariots. That's why. Sorry, my mistake.
The foe has sighted your hidden units.
You can get chariots. Yes, you can see my hidden units, because they were hiding in the thick mud. Right. Advance up. You guys are going to come around here. Heavies are going to be over here. You keep killing these slingers. Slingers aren't going to stand a chance as soon as we get close to them. Come on. This guy here, Thestios, he's a tiny bit of a problem. Right, advance. Advance. And advance. This mud is not helping my advance. That's why they're doing it. These islanders, however, shifting up this way are forcing them to think about where I'm going to go because they've seen them move in that direction. Odysseus, I want you to shift up a touch. Please, buddy. Go on, get into them. Advance.
Your warriors have spotted hidden foes.
Come on. Chuck your stuff at the young spears. You boys charge in here. Go on, engage. Run around here. Round the side. You boys, come on. Round the side as well. These guys are going to die because they're caught in between my sword skirmishers and my javelins. Yep, crushed them. There. See, these guys, they may come back. The Achilles slingers may come back. So we do need to watch that, but I'm not overly worried. Got a fight going on over here, which is marginally irritating. Unfortunately, Odysseus is not the most competent melee combatant. These are now shattered. They're not coming back at all. So if we were to throw him into a fight, he may not do so well. But that's fine. Can we bring this guy out? We'll shift you boys here. This rear charge here, if we go in, we don't have blood or anything yet. And I have to say as well, this is early access. It's coming out in a few days after this. So I'm sure there'll be a patch as well if you do see anything slightly dodgy. But of course blood and everything isn't available just yet. Here are our fantastic sword skirmishers. Looking pretty damn good. Smashing into the rear of these guys. We're going to shift these guys onto the flank over here just so they can get in and shoot from the side. They're doing quite well. I think... Can you just get in there and hit Thestios with a stick? Just to speed things up. Our axes here have done a rather good job of holding. They're not particularly good and they are losing because these club and shield infantry are better. We attacked them in the rear with our sword skirmishers and these chaps are about to just rain death on them. Which, you see their morale, boom, they're gone. They are gone. And this is where these guys come in handy. They are so quick. Victory, all over. Very nice. End battle, decisive victory. So we lost 131. Mostly from these guys. These guys leveled up, which is quite nice. Yeah, pretty proud. I'm not sure why they leveled up and they didn't when they got 121 kills. This, if you imagine with blood, would be spectacular as well, these fights here. Lives as barter, you can get food, spill their blood and you'll get morale. Take them on, you will get replenishment. I'm going to take them on for replenishment. I don't see the point in killing them when I've got another battle to fight, and we've defeated the enemy. Now we need to hire 12 units in total. We've got a decisive victory at the Battle of Cranoe, and we killed Thestios. Now, we've got our army here, and we have Cranoe here. What we're going to do is move straight forward, and just going to hold on for a second, because Odysseus has a level up. So, skills, level up. Now, he has lead from a lead by example, which will give, it's like a buff to your troops. Anyone within 100 meters gets melee attack, melee damage, and melee defense increases. Or cheat Hades, which is himself, he gets damage resistance and speed. Now, this is all about himself, this is all about units. The way I like to use Odysseus is more about buffing other troops, so I'm going to give him lead by example. Personal preference. Do whatever you feel is best for you. I'm going to have him here ready to attack Cranoe, which we're going to attack in a second. I'm going to look at this settlement here because we can build stuff, and you can see we can build a lot of things, but remember this is like Warhammer, so our main settlement can only go up to rank 3, so for example these you can't build anymore, so don't build any of this stuff unless you really can go for the max. But I will say you can't remove these, you can't, so all of these you can demolish, but the ports we can't demolish, so they are definitely there, you're stuck with these. But everything else, pick and choose depending on what you need. This is a farming settlement, and we have options. We can either have 90 food per turn and 20 growth, but that will reduce influence for our faction in this area. We can have +5 resources, but it will reduce happiness. Or we can have a hunter's lodge, or we can save up a little bit more stone, a little bit of stuff, and have a massive bonuses through this. But this is really expensive, and we're not realistically going to get it in the near future. We will need food, so boom, hunter's lodge is going in. With all that said and done, back to the fighting. So says it's a valiant defeat, blah 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 blah. I reckon we can do this. What you can do is scout the terrain with this button here, give you a good idea about what it's going to be like to fight. Let's go in and give it a little bit of a go. Now I reckon I can win this simply because of how we can form up with all the Vanguard deployment. It's extremely useful. And just because our axes got a little bit of a pacing last time, doesn't really matter. Our big boys are all in really, really good shape. And that's what we need. Dry weather is fine for me. Right. Now, I'm going to want you chaps here. I'm going to want you guys behind. And yeah, you guys can sit there. Right, advance up here, please. I want you here. No, I want you here, sorry. I want you here. And do you know what? I want the heavies here. So all of his slingers, they have better range, but they don't really have armor penetration. Whilst my javelins do have armor penetration. His clubmen here are his biggest threat. These guys, young spears, I can just butcher with melee fire. So these guys are the big threat. They have shields, it's harder for them to bring down. So I'm going to need to be quite clever about how I do it. Position my heavies here, because my heavies are going to take the brunt of their fire. These boys here are going to sit there and hide. And I would like you to butcher, please. Charge. Forward. Right, don't want you in skirmish mode anymore. Back up.
Foe has sighted your hidden units.
That's okay, they can sight my hidden units. They are welcome to sight my hidden units. Back up here. Right. We have now suckered them into a massive fight. No, I did not mean you. Stay there. Good. Right, advance. You boys advance. You boys charge. form here. Pop this. Just make everyone happier. Boom. Go. Throw. Okay, so these guys here are going to be absolutely wrecked in a second. Yeah, I know they're losing heart. Don't worry. Charge. Advance. As long as they hold for my guys to get in. And boom. Charge. Advance. Start shooting. We unfortunately can't really do anything to help that unit. They're just in trouble. These guys, my poor axes, are also in trouble. But we should be able to just kill these guys in huge numbers, which will force them to, force them to leave. You guys just keep going for their slingers. How are we doing here?
Have been routed.
That's fine, that's fine. They're allowed to be routed. Right, you guys are going to advance. Shoot the crap out of them, please. You guys are going to advance. So we've got those guys pinned. What we want is him there. Now, they should come back. You can see their morale is building up. Yep. They will hopefully come back pretty soon. Kill. Kill. Come on. Good boys. Back you come. Into the fight. You. Ping. Right, they've started to break here with the enemy. These guys are going to come back in. They have their own javelins which have been thrown in. You're going to get a rear charge on there, which is going to wreck you. You guys focus on them. You guys come over here. We're going to get rid of these slingers. These boys have done a very good job just harassing the slingers, but they're pretty much all going to die. But they are utterly expendable, so it doesn't really matter. This hero is a problem. He's a fighter champion. I do not want to get involved with Odysseus and him. So, you know, it is what it is. Come on. Right, get them. Get them. Alright, we've got a fight in our hands over here with our skirmishers. They've charged my ambushers, which they're more than welcome to do. It is their funeral, quite literally, as we've just beaten them. End battle. Close victory? Doesn't matter. We've won, we've taken out one settlement, and it's only turn one. We lost some men. Oh dear. It doesn't matter. We've got a few turns to build up the troops again. We need to hire some more troops as well. Yeah, with blood, this will be so good. Extra experience, more food. Fantastic, more gold. We're going to occupy. You have a chance to loot and occupy, sack or raise. We are going to occupy. We have taken Cranoi. And then here we can start to recruit troops. So we have a chunk of money. I love these guys. So we can only have 3 of those. And I think I will get another unit of these dribblers here. That's 4. That's not bad. Those guys are advancing up there. We have no other food or anything else to do. We need to move down here eventually. Let's move on to the next turn. Turn time's pretty quick. There are a fair few factions. But it tends to go pretty quickly, no matter what. I'm looking forward to seeing Pentheslayers, Amazons, and people as well, to see how they do them. Because I do think they've got quite a good take on the sort of semi-mythical and the interesting factions with this. I think their artwork and how they've designed it to make it sort of believable is fantastic. And the Amazons, because there's very little written about them in the Iliad itself, but they were in the other epics. But a lot of the text from the other epics has been lost to time. So they have a lot to play with when it comes to creating them. I think so I'm really looking forward to seeing them in detail. Right, a shrewd plan. As you contemplate the military campaign that lies before you, your thoughts turn to Troy and its legendary walls, said to have been erected by Poseidon and Apollo themselves. Should you ever find yourself besieging the Trojan capital, you will require more than brute strength. to breach its gates. You begin to conceive of a stratagem that might ensure victory with minimal loss of life should your armies ever find themselves at the city's battlements. You also have to issue a royal decree. We have, of course, already done that in 6 turns. That will complete. Thirst for conquest, we need to finish control of this, and we're going to get 700 wood. So that's all going very, very well. We have 11. We need to have more. We have a chunk of food. I would like some of these guys. Now, slingers, we don't need. All of these guys have javelins, and these 2 have javelins. I would like more of these, ideally. Slingers, I'm not super fussed about. Really not super fussed about them at all. I think 2 more of those. Okay, good. You, my man, are going to shift up here. So here we have Astakar, which is run by Chariots, who don't particularly like us. We should keep shifting around just so we can see all of their cities there and there. And do you know what? I think you can. We just, yeah, get on land over here. Good. We'll do some playing with him in a second. Now, in these settlements, we can upgrade our port. So I'm going to upgrade the boathouse in Ithaca itself, because we've got the resources for it. That uses wood rather than food. Food for the troops, wood for the buildings. As you get higher up, you'll see you start to need stone and gold. That's where they come in. So that's all looking really rather lovely. There isn't a huge much else that we need to do this turn, I don't think. Oh, not safe havens. I did not mean that. I meant, divine will. So you can see we've gone from 70 to 60, then it'll be 50, and then after that we'll drop. We cannot, unfortunately, do another hecatomb because it's not available, and we have insufficient resources for this. The prayer will give some nice bonuses, actually, were we fighting any battles in the near future, but we're not, so it doesn't matter. But, you know, you want to pay attention to the divine will because it does, it can be a game changer when it comes to battles. Most of the troops got bronze, we got food. Laying foundations, construct any building will of course do that. Thriving settlement, upgrade any settlement building needs to be done. Now these guys are pretty good. We are going to move towards Same, I don't know how you say that, over here. And we're going to recruit again. How many troops do we have? We have 15. We can probably only get away with 3, yeah, before we run out of food. But that's fine. We only need the 3. And you, my man, are going to drop in here. And don't have enough food. That's a shame. We can just wait around here, and we're gonna build a safe haven. That's relatively easy to take. We'll build a safe haven in there in a turn. We're moving him here because next turn we can start to shift down towards Hiri. We're out of food, so we can't do any prayers. We need the troops more than we need the divine will. We are going to lose favor with Ares by the time we reach Hiri. That's not a problem. Great thing is you can play it any different way you want with any of the gods, depending on what you need done. Laying foundations is complete. Cult level is down, as I thought it would go down, but it does not matter. Now, before anything else happens, in you go. Build a safe haven. Boom. Safe haven. So what a safe haven does is, if we look here, we can now build one of these. These ones we don't have the ability to build it because we can't produce any of these troops. We don't have that ability in our main settlement anyway. But we can get a warrior's lodge where we can build sword skirmishers, young spears, or islanders, or in slingers, ambushers, and island skirmishers. Either is quite good. 540 wood to build. I will save that for now because I think it's more important that we up this and get more stone per turn. Do we have enough left over afterwards? Yes, we do. Okay, so now we can definitely look at it. Right, I think skirmishers, because we can't really build them anywhere else. This means if we move an army in that area, we can get skirmishers over there. Right. So, march stance. Off you pop. Coming down south to clear out Hyri. This diplomacy is going to end very, very shortly as well. Well, a few turns. So we can't rely on that gold. We're going to have to rely on it from this. Hopefully that will kick in just before our deal with Sparta ends as well. I think that was a 10-turn deal. Oh. Yes. He failed to damage my agent.
Struck from the shadows. An enemy agent.
It's fine. That's fine. We need 20 units to do it. Prophecy of Doom, opportune failure. No problem. What about you? Assassinate rival, 8%. Well, that ain't gonna work. Don't worry. We're going for a wander. I have no interest right now over here. You can attach him to an army. He gives you line of sight and everything else. I'm just sort of having a look in this area, and then we'll bring him back when we come for the invasion, because they have an army up there that will make it a lot more fun to fight. We're going to up this as well, because we can't get rid of it. It's quite useful, brings in a lot of food. And you are going to go straight for their settlement. Good. Right, no god is on our side. We should get a Cadmean victory, which basically means a what's the word? A Pyrrhic victory, and yeah, I quite like fighting it. This is against their faction leader. Finish him off. He has his garrison. He has his main army. We have our army. Our troops are on the whole better, but he does have some good spears there, and these guys have got a level of veterancy. I'm not overly worried about young spears. They're not particularly good. Axes are not particularly good either. It's these boys we need to worry about. They will be hard, and you do get some units. Fog. No, thank you. Here we go. Some enemy units are well, not some enemy units. Some units are immune to being flanked. So we've got set up here for taking out this town. We have Vanguard deployment for troops, but not. Out of interest. Right. Let's think about this. You chaps here. Behind them. Yes, no, not really. You're not hidden. I will throw. You're hidden. You boys in here. So you're all hidden. You chaps are all ready and waiting. Nice. Okay. So I'd like 1, 2, 3, 4. Advance down this way, please. You, and Odysseus will advance up here. Right. Are they going to come for me? So we can't see that many of their troops. We know they have reinforcements. Shift these axes down here just to probe and see if they've got anyone. This is a settlement battle as well, by the way. It's quite fun because obviously this doesn't have a wall settlement, so you know, so it's a minor settlement. They have a victory point over here, which is probably going to be guarded. But we'll probe a little bit with these guys. I think our main man can shift up because you can see there's fog of war, well, like shadow of war in this area. If we shift him up here, we'll be able to see what they've got. They have their slingers guarding over there. Interesting. Shift him up here. We'll shift the spears with. We'll see if we can sucker them down. Go on, advance up there. You boys can advance here. You boys can advance here. Go on. Up we come. Up we come. Because we can force a flank, it looks like. Yes, massive amount of troops over there. That's fine. These guys, of course, can hide in anything. So we're going to shift some of them a little bit further forward. My skirmishers are chucking away like good uns. Bang, bang. Come on. Shoot the crap out of those militia, please. These guys are already routed. Fantastic. Charge. Right. Advance quickly. You and you. Advance quickly up here. No other way in, unfortunately. So, can we set up here? Because we don't want to get into a slugging match. Really? Okay. My spears have a pretty good charge. So, let's charge. You shoot into them. These chaps can come on a flank. These guys can head down here. These guys can come as a reserve. We've got a fight here that's going to take a bit of effort to win. Can we throw into these guys and finish them off really quickly? Possibly. Right. We've got a nice fight there. You boys. Yeah, that's their militia, so we're not overly worried. You throw yourself into this. You shoot him and pop that onto them. Right. Now, for the axes. I need you to shift over here. And I'm going to need you to shift over there. Broken. Excellent job. Right. Keep breaking these guys down. As soon as they've broken, we can send a flanking unit in. Charge. Forward, 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 forward. Can you not? No, you can't. That's a shame. Ah, well. Doesn't matter. We've broken through here. So we're going to get a decent flank on. That's fine. They can see as many of my hidden units as they want to see. Damn it. He's buffing his troops. It's a good thing I've got my heavies in here, though. Charge. Charge. Right. Let's go. So these are not my best troops by any stretch of the imagination, and they will get beaten by these guys if there's a prolonged fight. But I have numbers and I have a flank. Come on, you've got to bring him down. This fight, we need to hurry up. Come on, break them. Flanking shots. Break, 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 break. Because the longer we're in a fight... No, I want these guys broken. I want these guys broken, like, as fast as possible. Come on. Break the bloody things. Because when they're broken, it's just him on his own. These guys here are losing that fight. We have one here, though. Good. Go take ground. Heavies on them. You shift over there and give this to them. Broken. Excellent. Stand there. You and you. Charge. You push forward. You dig in on him. Right. Advance here. You advance here. Good men. How are we doing on this front? Fantastically well. Advance. Charge. Need you to advance. Yeah. All the way over here. Take that ground. We're fighting here. He could do with coming down a little bit further. These guys, just shoot the crap out of them, please. You boys, kill. You two, get in here. Come on. For whatever reason, do a formation that I want to form there. Which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, they've all been dealt with. Charge in here. You boys get them. You boys get them. You boys can hold here. You axes chase. Make sure they don't come back. And then this is just going to tick down, and then eventually we're going to win. Basically, they're going to have to pull back and fight me for it. A lot of their units are shattered, so their chances of doing so are pretty minimal. We'll throw these two guys in there. You guys, you're going to need to finish off these militia here, please. These guys are still holding because they are proper spearmen. Unsurprising. That will be why they're dealing with being flanked so well. The fighter champions are a problem. Not gonna lie. Odysseus doesn't really have the ability to deal with them very, very effectively at this moment in time. But, you know, we'll get there, we'll get there. You boys. Alright, they're probably broken. Victory's come, they're all running away. Brilliant. Easy. End battle, decisive victory, not a Cadmean victory. Yeah, just speed and outflanking. The fact that so many of his troops can hide means you can outmaneuver the enemy so effectively with Odysseus. I love it. More veterancy for these guys as well. Fantastic. I do like this. Look at these kills. They're so good. Right, occupy. That is the province taken within 5 turns. We can now do a commandment, and we're going to get a mission to do it. Okay. Fantastic. Faction destroyed, blah, blah, blah. So, a commandment. If you go here, you have all these different commandments. Intrepid seafaring, which gives you movement range and construction to port buildings. Recruitment cost of all army down. Happiness and growth. Success rate of enemy agents is nerfed. Action cost for agents is nerfed. Buffed and 2% rank. Or resources. I want resources, so I'm going to pop that for now. With that spot of land taken as well, this means that we can now recruit some more troops. I am going to probably get me 2 more of them, I think. I have nothing else I can rush to build. I'm not overly worried in any of that stuff. What I do want to do is poison that guy, so we're going to shift him back there in a turn. And I think we'll go on to end turn. Ooh, something happened. But you see, it's pretty quick, pretty easy. Take out the initial province. As always, she's following. She is shite. She hurt my man. Thriving settlement upgrade. Any settlement building. Mission successful. Royal commandment. Mission successful. Mission successful. So growing influence. We now need to control 2 provinces. Hostile agent action. Fine. And we have got a trait, firm but fair. So +1 happiness to the local province. Unfortunately, we're not going to keep him in the local province. What has that done to our man here? Probably nothing good. Poison the well.
Too sick to hold a sword.
She won't do anything. She's shat on him. That's a shame. Actually, that's a real shame. Why are you stuck there? I can't really do anything, which is a bit of a problem. Okay, now once we upgrade a settlement, so I'm going to upgrade this, which is our bronze working thing. We've also got new buildings to build here in Krenoi. Krenoi is stone. So as far as stone goes, we really want to save up for this one, because it's going to give us the most stone per turn. We're going to wait a turn before we go all out on that province. These guys are all fantastic, so we're going to shift all the way up here to Ithaca. and I should have done this on, yeah, super fast boat mode. They will take a little bit of attrition because they're in rough waters. That's fine. We're going to land on Ithaca, and then we'll heal up on Ithaca. And then from Ithaca is where we plan our attack on these chaps. Now, we've got another point to spend. What you can do is sort of buff this with these smaller things here for a point. This is weapon damage, charge bonus, melee defense, melee attack. This is melee attack, morale, blah, blah, blah. So quite interesting. Or you can sort of ignore it and just save up and wait, and then when you get one thing you can spend like all 3, for example, on rank 4. Or you can just, you know, spend on a single one. I quite like this, getting the collector, because it's treasures looted after battle. This reduction in attrition is quite nice, and income from raiding, but I don't raid that much certainly with Odysseus' army. So I'm going to drop that. I think that's going to be quite useful for us, just as a basic. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is where I'm going to leave this for now. So we've done 6 turns. What we're going to do next, and what the plan will be, is if we can get our bloody agent moving, you just want to try and get the agent some levels up by poisoning wells and just generally, you know, making a nuisance of themselves so we can get levels up. But, you know, low-level agents are not great. If they die, they die. It's not a problem. We'll recruit a new one. But the agents do cost gold, which is why we're trying to save gold. We want to, like I said in Prenoi, we want to save up and grab one of these, because this will actually give us the best return for stone, and it gives us high influence. It does cost a lot, but, you know, it's worth it in the long run. We're going to throw his army in here. When we get the opportunity, we're going to upgrade this as well. Because when it's rank 3, we start to get the ability to upgrade this, and we can get heavy sword skirmishers and spear runners, which are quite nice. Also, when it's rank 3, we get another building, and if we get another building, we'll be able to start getting in a building where we can produce skirmishers, because we want his ambushers. Very much want his ambushers. We want to start replacing some of these dribblers for the ambushers, because I think the ambushers are actually... yeah, they're actually better at melee attack than these dribblers as well. So, you know, these guys are very good at hiding, and they played a good role in that battle, but we definitely want these guys because they're just better. When we're in a position and these guys are healed up, we're going to go straight for Astakos. Now, Astakos has a garrison. You can find out what the garrison details are here. It's relatively small. He has 2 units. He might have more by the time we get there, but we should be able to take that up pretty damn quickly. Unfortunately, we know there is an army here in Polaris, and that army is pretty sizable. So we're going to go in here, we're going to fight, and then we're going to have to ambush. There are ambush stances, there's like shadow stance as well, you know, lots of different things that we're going to have to do to beat that army. And beat it we shall. So I'm not going to be overly worried. Once we take Astakos, we're going to have another bronze producing settlement, then we'll take Polaris, we'll have a food producing settlement. When we take Lefkas, we'll have a wood producing settlement. And this is actually going to open up 2 different provinces for us to take, because we have here, which is run by the Aetolians, who I don't know if we're friendly with or not, and this one, which is run by the Phaeacians, who again I don't know if we're friendly with or not. But the point is, we just want to take these guys out. They don't particularly like us, and we want the wood, and we can focus on whichever faction is easiest for us to finish off, because we don't want an extended war with a faction. At the time, see which one's easier to face off against, wipe it out, take control of the settlement. After that, eventually you're going to get a Homeric mission that ends up sort of up here. That's why we're going up north. We're going to see if we can just bounce up this coast, taking anything that isn't particularly friendly with us and holding it. And that's the aim. Then we get the first Homeric mission, and that will set us up for the rest of the game for a Homeric victory. If you're just going for conquest, smash your way up here, then smash your way east along this stretch of sea here, taking everything you can, bounce across, and then you've got Troy over here. And that is how you win the first few rounds and set yourself up for winning this game. I really hope you've enjoyed this, ladies and gentlemen. If you have, please feel free to drop a like and subscribe. Are you interested in Troy? Will you be playing Troy? for me, like I said, I think it's relatively fun. It's certainly not going to be one of my favourite games ever, but I do think it's fun. So if you are enjoying it, or if you're interested in it, drop a comment down below, drop a like, subscribe, because we will be doing a little bit more of Troy. And if you are interested, it is on Epic. I know a lot of people aren't particularly keen on Epic for one reason or another, but it is available on Epic. You can play it on day one for free, I believe. So yeah, it's worth having a look, if only for that, you know. But yes, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.